That was fun.
Hey, we're live. Oh, gotta get the trademark. Coming.
Alright, I got ginger beer.
You coming?
Yep.
Alrighty.
You good?
Yep.
We're good?
We're good.
There's a ginger ale. I couldn't find a ginger beer for you, honey.
Oh, that's okay. I'll suffer through. Such a hardship. All right. We got people joining us already.
Good.
There's Carl and Connie and Caroline and Carol. Everybody that starts with a C came early tonight. Oh, Adele's here too.
Who?
Adele. We got Eric is here. Oh yeah, lots of love.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Mark Allen Lovewell. I'm a folk singer from the island of Martha's Vineyard. Welcome to another Sunday show, Facebook Live. We were stumbling and bumbling around as we were getting this show up, and we're live now. Everything looks good. Please give comments, give us feedback. I hope the sound is okay. I hope you get audio.
Everybody's saying good sound, and Eric says nice guitar work. Here you go.
Thank you. So This is the first Sunday of April, and welcome to spring, everyone. And I'm so glad you could join with us. This is a big deal to me. This is, of course, every show is a big deal, but you know, we're starting our third year this month. We've done this program for 2 years. It's one of these weekends coming up, and I can give you a specific date later in the month. But April is the month. April of 2 years ago is when we started doing these programs, and it was a response, obviously, for many of you who have the memory of this COVID, this pandemic, which isolated so many wonderful musicians, talented, creative souls. We all had to find a way to stay alive, to stay energetic, to stay creative. And we came up with the show. I came up with the show, and through your enthusiasm, hardly mine, it's your enthusiasm, we keep doing this. And as for those who've been following for the last few months, you notice that Molly has joined with me, and we're making the show even better than it was when I was doing it alone. And it's a real treat. We look forward to it. It is truly, my major connection and Molly's major connection to the musical world out there by being able to be creative and share stories and share in the fellowship. The song I was just playing, the medley, was the Herring Song. And the Herring Song, for some of you who showed up a Facebook Live this morning, know how important herring is to me. And herring is to this community. From Newfoundland all the way down to northern Florida, people care about river herring. For at this time of year, the herring come inshore. They come inshore and they come up our coastal ponds, come up our coastal creeks and brooks into our coastal ponds to spawn. They do this every year. And it's hugely important to the history and heritage and to the environment as well, because these fish are filter feeders. They don't go looking for bait. They eat the little microscopic creatures that are in the ponds, algae and whatever like that. They clean our ponds just like oysters clean our ponds. And you gotta love oysters, and you gotta love herring, because that's about the health of our waters. So I wrote this song. I was invited to write this song for a CD that came out on the West Coast in Oregon a year ago about herring. And I was invited to write this song. And of course, river herring are essential. Somebody had to write a song about herring. Anyway, somebody had to do it, so I've got this for you. And Molly, you want to come over and join me, because she does a wonderful job bringing life to the chorus.
Oh, I love to sing this song. It's so beautiful. Thank you for inviting me. We're having a play date.
We're going to be understated. Molly's pretty important around here.
I'm just having
the wood
a good
stove,
time.
Ashley, the wood stove. I think tonight's the last night you're going to see me have a fire in it, because I'm literally gone through all the wood.
She's putting on a good show.
Between
good
Ashley,
colors.
the wood stove, and Molly, the singer, brings a lot of warmth to this place.
Yeah, but we're here because of you.
And she's a great singer. And also, let me just add this one important part: is that this herring, this love for herring, is not just a fashion for me, it's not just a love for me. It's hugely important, because herring are under a moratorium that goes back at more than a decade. In other words, you can't commercially catch, you can't even recreationally catch herring in these waters, river herring in these waters. You're forbidden, because their numbers are so depleted. And yet you go back not very far, like 20 years ago, and they were so abundant. We could harvest them. There was no limit. You could go down to the herring run and grab a tote bag full. You could get whatever you wanted. So this is serious. This is our salmon. This is the fish of the sea that has been so depleted anyway. spring when the herring didn't come. Never a night when the fish didn't run. Never a thought we'd ever get this way, that they'd be so scarce in this modern day. A humpback whale breaches from a deep dive. The bald eagle flies so way up high. Shiny silver scales and that old fish weir. You gotta love it, boys. The fish are here. These seaside fish were our darlings. We'd haul them in the morning for the sun. Fast cold water and our hearts were warm. Fish scales they made Priscilla pearls. Wampanoag, Penobscot, and every coastal tribe. Winters were cold, it was hard to survive. Hope of spring came with this fish of the sea. They came wiggling, swimming up our stream. Scarce they aren't around much anymore. They are so depleted, they're gone from our shore. Don't tell our forefathers we've emptied the banks. We squandered them, never agreed to thank. These seaside fish were our darlings. We hauled them in the morning for the sun. Fast cold water and our hearts were warm. Fish scales they made Priscilla pearls. When the shad bush blossoms and the snow melts, ponds open up and the creeks let out. Wherever a trickle of fresh water meets the sea, there's herring waiting to come upstream. In the darkest night when the moon rises, turn your lantern light up high. The herring have arrived. Their names connect us to where we should be. Two back, all wives, Bucky and Sawbelly. These fish were our darlings. We hauled them in the morning for the sun. Fast cold water and our hearts were warm. The ladies, they loved Priscilla Pearl. The ladies, they loved Priscilla Pearl. Thank you.
I love that song.
Thank you. Let's hope it makes a difference. There's nowhere, you go Googling around, there's not a lot of advocacy for preserving and protecting these fish, as there could be. I mean, there are amazing stories in communities that are trying in their own way to restore herring runs, and there are many who are, removing the encumbrances that prevent these fish from going upstream.
We saw them here doing that.
Yeah.
They were cleaning out everything and dredging it and making sure it was a good, smooth channel.
And and it's on a much larger scale. They're removing dams. In the state of Maine, there's a whole initiative to try and clear the waterways so that these fish can come upstream. Now, there's a lot of attention to the salmon, and no one wants to diminish that, because we really need to protect salmon too. Atlantic salmon are far more scarce than herring, and they are a fish that swims upstream to spawn too. Now, so often you hear stories, and you go into the fish market, and you're hearing the story of the Alaskan salmon or the salmon from the west coast, and there are fish farms around the world that I think are controversial, raising salmon, but the idea is that to restore runs for herring and salmon is healthy business for restoring the quality of the water. You know, everyone loves clean water. Nobody wants polluted water. And these fish, especially the herring, are like what we talked about earlier with the oysters. They clean ponds. They clean the waters. And so this is huge. And I hope you like the song. If you want to hear it on your own, you can certainly Google it. The Herring Song is in all of the streaming services. We use Apple or what's the other one? There's
Spotify.
Spotify. You know, you're gonna go to. You can even. It's even Amazon Music. It's all these songs, and so that song is out there and it's available. And later this spring, can I tell them?
I think you should tell them.
In a month. All right, this is a month. Molly and I are going to come out with our new CD. It's our first CD as a
singing duo
we did together, you know. So you go online and you get the Herring Song, and you just have me singing it with a little help. But in the new version of the Herring Song, and in the new version of many songs that I've recorded,
a little different,
with Molly joining in. And this is for you. We're telling you folks about it. And later on in the show, we'll even say some more. Because this is the biggest news in our lives. And certainly for those who love us and who care about what we do. It's a really big deal. And I hope you're a part of it. I hope you're stay tuned with us. Continue to join with these shows and because we're so excited, we're busting at the seams here.
I know, it's so cool because I mean, like, who else is out there singing about herring, you know, and things like that? But it's things that are important and things that are carrying on traditions that are ancient traditions of harvesting fish, caring for the environment. And that's a wonderful thing, which actually is reminding me about the most exciting news. Can I tell them the news about my brother?
Oh, you want to go right into that?
Let's
go right into that.
I gotta tell them because it's so
tell
exciting.
Tell them right now.
And it reminds me.
Late breaking news.
This is late breaking news, and this is reminding me about people who care about things that are, you know, maybe other people have let them go by the wayside. You know, people don't remember the old sea shanties, but thank goodness we have Mark here who's sharing them with us so we can remember these songs. Well, my brother's done a similar thing.
Tell him his name.
Jonathan Ward. He is right now, right this very minute, at the Grammys ceremony because he was nominated for one Best Historical Album. And he has taken 78s from around the globe. Now, wait, I'm going to say the name of his album because, you know, you might be interested in looking it up, and I'll say it wrong if I don't read it because it's long. Excavated Shellac. That's his fun title for his company that does things on with records. Excavated Shellac, an alternate history of the world's music. and he has 100-page liner notes about all of these songs that he's researched. Who are these obscure artists way back when in these little villages around the world who were recording this music from their local places and in languages that might not even exist anymore, instruments that, you know, it's cool, the history. Anyways, I'm so super proud of him because he's kind of doing the same thing you're doing, just in a slightly different genre.
Doesn't it sound like the apple's not that far from the tree?
Not far from the tree. Anyways, I have to, this is a spoiler, but he didn't win, but he was happy to lose to Joni Mitchell for her historical album. So he was in the same
Isn't that
category. Isn't that cool?
We love Joni Mitchell.
He does too, so he was happy.
We all do. Anyhow, she upstaged him.
And he was fine with
and
that.
with love and attention. Oh my God, there's been some wonderful. Anyhow, we all grew up with Joni. Joni Mitchell, wonderful lady.
Exactly.
Anyhow, she got it. And he was a runner-up, right?
Right, yeah, he was the nominee, and that's great company. Anyways, I just tip my hat to anybody who's out there keeping the old things alive. It's a beautiful, wonderful, wonderful thing.
And I'll just to wave another carrot in front of you. This collection of songs that we're putting together is coming together, and the CD is original songs and traditional songs, vineyard traditional songs, old sea shanties. I mean, it's pretty much like an extension of what I've done in my last 4 CDs, but I've got a pro helping me.
Oh, I got a pro helping me.
And then we got original songs. She's written songs, I've written songs. Many of them you've heard, and we've got new ones you've never heard. You have not heard these songs yet.
But they're super fun. Can I tell them how we're going to share them with them?
Yeah.
Because it's just exciting.
Don't be too specific, because I want them to come in. Keep tuning in to follow it. But
we're just going to tell you the little teasers that the unveiling of the project is going to be a hybrid event. So that means you guys are invited.
You're invited.
As well as people in person.
It'll be a Sunday night live.
Isn't that cool?
We're doing it in a local music store.
And technology is going to make you guys be able to be there. Isn't that cool?
And it's Sunday, May
15th.
May 15th. So even if you just ignore us for the next couple of weeks, show up at 8 p.m. on Sunday.
We'll have a different backdrop.
Sunday, May 15th.
It's going to be cool.
We'll be at a totally different location, up the street, less than a mile away.
That's right. Oh, it's concertina time. We better stop yakking.
So we're really excited. And there's songs that, some of these songs, they would be lost forever if no one recorded them.
Yeah, we went digging in some books to find a couple of them.
We've got some songs that you've never heard before, that are great songs, sea shanties.
Great songs.
My father was the keeper of the Eddystone Light, and he slept with a mermaid one fine night. From this union there were 3, a porpoise, a porgy, and the other was me. The wind blows free, all for the life of the rolling sea. One night I was sitting upon the glim, singing a verse from the evening hymn, when a voice from the starboard shouted,
Ahoy!
And there was my mother, she was sitting on a buoy. The wind blows free, all for the life of the rolling sea. So what has happened to my children 3? My mother, she then asked of me. Well, one was exhibited as a talking fish, the other was served on a chafing dish. Please join with me. The wind blows free, all for the life of the rolling sea. Well, the phosphorus flashed in the mother's hair. I turned to look, and she wasn't there. But a voice came shouting out of the night,
The hell with the keeper of the Edison light.
Wind blows free, all for the life of the rolling sea.
We love that concertina.
Oh boy. All right, so now let's have some fun.
Yeah, we totally have been way too serious up to this point.
So, one of the key signatures, we talked a little bit about the herring showing up. Daffodils showing up are one of the great signs of spring.
They're here.
I'm sure it's in your yard. I got a few here in my yard. How many?
They're out. I counted 6 right out the door.
Just right out here, 10 feet from here. Well, one of the other signature signs of spring in this coastal community, and I'm sure you know it just as well as I do, fog. This is the season of fog.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so touching. It's also the season when you hear the fog, when you see the fog and you hear the pinkletinks.
Mm-hmm. And you
Fog
see, if you're lucky, you see a fog bow.
Or a fog bow.
I saw one last year. I never even knew what a fog bow was, but it's like a rainbow that looks like it's made out of fog. That was amazing. It was so cool.
And if you don't know what she's talking about, look it up, Google it, because
Yeah,
it's a
look it
subject for which meteorologists and people who love weather enjoy, and it is rare. I mean, it's not something that jumps out at you all the time. But yeah, a fog bow, this fog and the way it rolls in, and it's like the other signs of spring. It's a big deal, and so I feel, because that's who I am, I feel it's time to read a poem.
Oh, goody.
A poem you know. If you don't know it, you heard it here. For some of you who remember the wonderful Carl Sandburg, anybody remember Carl Sandburg? Carl Sandburg, for those of you who don't know, Carl Sandburg was an amazing, wonderful poet. He was of the same period of time as Robert Frost. But Carl was even more special in many ways because he was also a folk singer.
Oh, we have to love him for that.
You gotta love him. He was also a journalist.
Oh, we have to love him for that.
He worked in the newspaper business. And when I was growing up as a young man, I fell in love with Carl Sandburg. What wonderful work that he did. And for those folks in the Chicago area, well, he didn't just, even though Chicago was his home, he was celebrated across the nation. And his Swedish descent, and it's just a lovable. I have a stack of books here, his complete works of poetry, and I'm looking at, even in these hard, weird times that we're going through right now, you can be lifted. You can be lifted by reading a poet. And I urge you and encourage you to take this thought with you, and that is that even though these times are challenging right now, find some time in your day to celebrate some of the people you love to read. And for many of us, Carl Sandburg is at the top. And this poem I'm going to read you is called Fog. And it's perhaps the shortest fog poem you've ever heard, I've ever heard. And it's just such a sweet, sweet poem. Fog. The fog comes on little cat feet. It sits looking over harbor and city on silent haunches and then moves on. That's great.
I love that. I love the silent haunches. Ooh, that's good.
I mean, we all love cats, right? Everybody knows a cat. There's cats in this neighborhood. And the lichen, anyway, I could probably just let you just meander and wander that thought. I'm gonna have some of this because I gotta wet my whistle.
There you go, wet your whistle.
Toast to all of you.
Toast.
I'm not finished talking about fog yet. So we love fog.
Yep, the clock agrees.
You hear that clock? And we love the sound of foghorns. I don't know how you feel about it, but I love the sound of a foghorn.
I love the sound of a foghorn.
In an early morning, where you're out, for many of us who go out fishing, recreational fishing from the shore, to hear a foghorn miles and miles away. I mean, we love our lighthouses. We love looking at our lighthouses and so on. But foghorns are really terrific. But I have sad news to report to you for those of you who love Martha's Vineyard and its foghorns. It's a rare moment that you'll ever hear a foghorn on Martha's Vineyard anymore. In just the last couple of years, the Coast Guard, for reasons that are obviously cost-saving and saving money and whatever, and also for efficiency, they've changed the way foghorns sound. Used to be on any foggy day or night, you could hear a foghorn. And for those of us living here in Vineyard Haven and Oak Bluffs and Edgartown, you could hear the West Chop Lighthouse has a foghorn, and you'd hear it. And even more, even more of us would hear the Nopska Light foghorn. And Nopska Light is on the southern tip of Cape Cod. It's like 4 miles north of Vineyard Haven. And to hear those two foghorns was a treasure. There's new technology which allows these foghorns to be sounded only by a boat that's passing in the neighborhood. We can key it with his microphone, marine radio, and turn it on. And while that is wonderful technology, the idea of hearing a foghorn at night or during the day, so much has changed on the waterfront. You really don't need foghorns because all these ships have radar and they have all these wonderful technology available to them to keep them away from the shore. And so it makes economic sense to see that these foghorns are being discontinued or put to rest. But in the last several years, I have not heard the foghorn of West Chop or the Nopska Light foghorn, even though the Coast Guard reports that they're capable of sounding. But the other thing is, part of it is that these homes that have been built nearby, near the Coast Guard, I don't know, 25 years ago I wrote a story for the Vineyard Gazette about a neighbor who had bought a house right next to the West Chop Lighthouse, and they complained vociferously, am I saying that? of the foghorn sounding on days when it wasn't foggy, because the technology was not perfect. So, if you're a neighbor and you're seeing the sun clear skies and you're hearing a foghorn, you get really upset and call the Coast Guard. Well, we got in the newspaper business, we got wind of that, and I had a wonderful time writing about the sad, tragic story about people being annoyed by foghorns. Well, I just want, if you want to hear the sound of the West Chop foghorn, I almost deliberately, but it was accidental, truly accidental, that if you look at my second CD called Martha's Vineyard Folk Songs, and you can Google it. You don't even need to Google my name. You don't even have to have any affiliation with, just Google West Chop Fog Horn. WESTCHOP. And you will come. You can do it right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know how we would play it for the listeners on the show, but you could do it yourself in your own home. You Google West Chop Foghorn, and you'll come up with that recording. And it's a very special recording because it'll never happen again.
Right.
It's the sound,
But it's
you listen
there.
carefully, and you'll hear the West Chop foghorn. And then if you listen very carefully to that recording, you'll also hear echoing, almost, not precisely alike, but echoing in the distance, the Nobska light foghorn. So you got two foghorns
They're talking.
talking to each other across Nantucket Sound. Isn't that fun? I recorded that, and I threw it on the CD because, I just love the sound of foghorns. Never knowing that today, 2022,
We can't go out and get the sound of the foghorns. We can't record that.
so do a little Googling. Find it. Listen to it. And see if it makes you, warms you up. There's not a lot of melody to a foghorn.
It's kind of Johnny One
There's not a
Note.
lot of rhythm either. There's not a lot of this
It's
and that
beautiful.
that goes with a foghorn. But we love foghorns. We think foghorns are things.
Oh, the Weymouth Herring Run is in the house. This just in.
Weymouth Herring Run.
It's in the house.
Oh, I love it.
And
Hey,
Melissa heard the ferry. Melissa heard the ferry
Oh
when you
my
were talking
God.
about foghorns. Right a block away.
See, I feel like I'm in the right family right now. We're surrounded by all
You
these people.
get
think
excited
alike.
about the herring runs and the foghorns and the ferries. It's awesome.
I want to go one more direction. You're going to find that this program is... I talk about, Anyway, today was a big day for the release of a new book that just came out. Well, actually, it's been out for several weeks, but they've had such struggle to try and get an opening event for it. This is called the COVID Monologues MV. Readings to nourish, inspire, and connect. It is a collection of essays by people mostly from Martha's Vineyard. I say predominantly Martha's Vineyard. I'm included. And it was edited by Jennifer Knight, Knight, and Maura Silva. And this book is available on Amazon. $12.95. Proceeds from the sale of this book are donated to the Martha's Vineyard Hunger.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a collection of articles, things that were written by people in the last 2 years, more recent, surrounding the pandemic. Personal essays. And you remember I was just talking to you a little bit about Carl Sandburg and urging you to go read a book or go read something that makes you feel good. This is on the same theme. The idea is that we struggle. We need humanity in our lives, and there's nothing brings us closer to it besides music, other than music and fellowship like tonight. Than sitting down with a good book. And this book here is a collection of those. It was edited so that people submitted material, and many of them we had readings. We had readings during the COVID scene up at the Martha's Vineyard Museum. We all gathered 6 feet apart and listened in the time when we weren't allowed to get together. And the one article I just saved to you that I wrote, and it's called "Sailing Through a Pandemic," and it's a let's see, it's on page 73. Let me get the words right on it. Sailing Through a Pandemic. It's a story of talking about sailing in the summer. The world is going to heck. People are dying. People are carrying disease, and for those of us who need a break, need something, need some warmth, need some fellowship with Mother Earth, need some fellowship with the ocean. Sailing. So it's an essay that I wrote, and it's in here. It's in this book. And I encourage you, you can Amazon.com. All you have to do is COVID monologues MV, and just take a peek at it. Take a peek at it and see how you feel about it. Here you go. And I encourage you to do whatever you can to take care of yourself. Take care of your...
And yes, Bunch of Grapes has it too. Other island venues have it for sale.
All of them have it. All of them have it.
The name again is COVID Monologues MV. Like Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, MV Beings. Yeah, thank you. And they're going to do more books. They've got the writers are all excited and enthusiastic, and the outpouring of support.
They're going to make it a theater show too, so they're going to keep raising money for Hungry on the Island, which is a good thing. Oh my goodness, I just got a picture from my brother. His view, sitting where he's sitting, of the Grammys. I'm sorry that this just in. Technology, we love it.
You do, don't you? I mean, we have folks on the West Coast.
Look, we got people everywhere with us. Even my brother from the Grammys is here with us. It's so cool. Oh boy.
We got folks in the Chesapeake, Melissa. We got Virginia,
yep.
Barbara. We got Barbara, Virginia. Occasionally we have Susan out in Oregon.
So fun, so lovely. We got a lot of people here from the island too with us. We're just really happy.
We all can feel connected, right?
Don't forget about Sharon and Ted from England.
What's that?
Sharon and Ted from England.
Oh my God, Sharon and Ted from England. Oh my God, they're wonderful folks. They in 2 years of holding these shows, they're the only followers of the show. Actually made a present during the show. Came on, I won't say on stage. They just came into the living room and had shared a moment with us. Sharon
really
and Ted,
fun.
and they're
active.
Fun. They're involved. If you haven't seen their comments lately, give them a hello. Give them a hello. So this is not the last song of the show, but it usually is the last song of the show. Cape Horn, one frosty morning, and the sails miles behind us, many thousand miles to go. The ocean lifts her waves to bring us to that world. Remember shore, rolling home, rolling home, rolling home for us, rolling home to Martha's Vineyard, rolling home to me.
Yeah!
Okay, we got one more thing. Oh my God, there's the scanner going.
Everybody's weighing in tonight.
Whoops.
Well,
Poor fellow.
aw.
Alright, I need these.
I don't think you do.
I'm gonna read that.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. You can read that first?
Yes. I'm setting the tone first. So
Oh, good.
put it down.
Oh, okay. I'll grab it when you're done.
So that was the opening of the melody for the Ukrainian national anthem. And as many of you have been noticing for the last several weeks, we've been doing some sort of commemorative, some memorable something to, because what's going on in Europe right now is awful. It's terrible. The words to the Ukrainian national anthem in English translated are by themselves poetry for any nation that is trying to survive, for any nation that is trying to make it through, not even to visualize, not even to imagine what's been going on for Ukraine. But any nation has the desire and wish to be itself, to be its own, be its own. So let me, listen, for you, this is a present for you. I mean, I know how many of you have connections to the Ukraine or whatever, but you, as a citizen of the world, have this connection with your country, and the country matters to you. This is the words. Glorious spirit of Ukraine shines and lives forever. Blessed by fortune, brotherhood will stand up together. Like the dew before the sun, enemies will fade. We will further rule and prosper in our promised land. We will lay our soul and body for the cherished freedom. Cossack blood will raise the nation of the joyous people. And these words weren't just recently written. But boy, does it matter here. Anyway. Now, Molly's going to sing along.
I'm going to do my best in Ukrainian.
And I'm going to do my best on this baritone concertina. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you everyone for joining with us on this important night. I appreciate you being with us. I appreciate the fellowship and the support of all of you out there for encouraging us to continue to do this. Our Patreon supporters, our behind the scenes supporters, the people who care about what we're doing.
Yeah.
People who have a mutual care about the world around.
The world around, the fish around, the environment, and just good music. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, everyone. We love you all. No kidding. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.